Hi, Michael Dermer here, and in this lesson we're talking about founders' deadly sins. These are the things that seem so little, but when you do them as a founder, they really stunt the progress of your company. So let's get into the details. So what does it mean when we say founders' deadly sins? Think about when you're starting a company. So many things are on your mind, and you're going through the day, and you're dealing with all the fires, and you're trying to move your business forward. You don't really have time to think about what words come out of your mouth and how you're dealing with other people's feelings or thoughts about things, but that's actually the wrong perspective. There's certain things that you can do that for you, you're just in that very moment, but can have a real lasting impact, right? And one of them is really subtle that actually happens all the time. And it's when you use the word I or my versus we and us, right? When you walk through the day and you start to say, well, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and my company wants to do this, and my company wants to do that, that actually sends a very clear and negative message to all the other people that are running the company and helping with the company and contributing. What you really have to say is we. It's we are going to accomplish things, right? And it's our company, right? It's us that are going to move things forward. If you ever look at the CEO of a large company get interviewed on TV, you will never hear them say the word I. It's always about we. Incredibly important for setting the tone for your company, okay? Second, you can never make exceptions for you as the founder to the rules that have been set in place, okay? So let's say, for example, you have a little fine jar in the corner that says anybody who's late to meetings has to put $1 in there, right? And you regularly show up at meetings 10 minutes late. And you say to yourself, well, wait a minute, I'm the founder, right? And you don't put your $1 in the jar. That will create a debilitating, lasting impression on all your people forever. Because they're basically saying, hey, listen, you're supposed to be our leader. And you're telling us that we have to abide by these rules, but you're the one person that's not going to abide by them. You actually have to be the complete opposite. If you're supposed to pay $1 into the fine jar, pay $2. Right? When you set that tone for them, it shows them the right things to do versus making exceptions for you as the leader. Next is dismissing how your team feels. Again, it's very, very understandable, right? That in the early stages of venture with so much on, you're like, I can't worry about how everybody else feels. But remember, these are the people that you want to ride the journey with you. They may not be as motivated as you are. They may not have all the equity ownership. They may not wake up in the middle of the night thinking about this. But when that team seems frustrated, or their compensation's not right, or they're not getting the right amount of attention or guidance from you, when you dismiss that, they go back home at night and go, do I really want to be part of this? As opposed to saying, hey, listen, I know you're overworked. I know you're frustrated, right? Hang with me. It's not that I'm ignoring that. Just help me get from point A to point B. I think you'll find a much different reaction. Those people will really go to the wall for you along the way of your entrepreneurial venture. Okay? Next is your ability to instill confidence. Okay? Think about it. You're doing something new. You're doing something unique, right? You've got to be able to paint for them that it's just a matter of time before you get from point A to point B. Think about my old company, right? We were rewarding people for being healthy. We were actually going to convince the healthcare industry to pay people who were doing the worst with their health. I had to instill confidence with my team that it was just a matter of time that was going to happen. And it did turn out. But if I, as the leader, come in and express that doubt to my team all the time, there's nothing wrong with being candid and working on solving problems, but you really have to be able to instill that confidence in their team, because sometimes we're all doing it on blind faith, especially with a new idea. And what goes hand in hand with that is really this last founder's deadly sin, and that is talking about catastrophe. It is really natural many times during our entrepreneurial venture to come back from a meeting and go, I don't know if we're going to make it. Or, wow, if this customer doesn't decide to buy from us, we're in real trouble, right? Even though it's very natural to react that way in front of your team, even though that's the way you feel all the time, as soon as you start to bring in the, I don't know if we're going to make it, and talk about that catastrophe, it really sets doubt in the mind of your team. And so instead of plowing through the most difficult times, that they may be initially very motivated to do, they go home and say, wow, if our leader is doubting that we can get there, should I really be following them? Okay? So as a founder, there's lots of things on your plate, right? And you're talking about business strategy and how do you win customers and how do you have enough money, right? But just trust me, these deadly sins have a lasting impact far beyond the moment that you say those things. So try to take the time to understand that you're doing them and avoid these founders' deadly sins at all costs, okay? Take a look at the other information we've written up for you in the midst of this lesson.